Good evening, everybody. It's Charlie, and welcome back to another video on the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel. It's time for your live match preview. The games are coming quick and fast now, guys, as Leeds United take on Nottingham Forest tomorrow night at Elland Road under the lights, 7:45 kickoff in what feels like the beginning of a very, very huge week in our recent history. Just before we get into it, as always, let's get the niceties out of the way. Please smash that like button if you can. It's free. It really helps get the video out there, and you'd be really doing me a favor there. Also, please subscribe to the channel as well. I want to keep growing the channel as much as humanly possible. My next goal is to hit 3,000 subscribers, as you all know. Please hit that subscribe button. That's also free. And again, you'd be helping me out. Hit that notification bell as well. There's going to be plenty of content over the next week or so, obviously, as the games, as I said, are coming quick and fast. And get all of your thoughts and opinions in the live chat as we go. I can see there's 10 people in the building at the minute. That's great at this time. So as I said, smash a like, please subscribe if you're brand new. We'll just get into the first two comments that have dropped in. Kevin's in the building. Evening, mate. Hope you're all good as well. And Manji is also with us as well. Good evening, Manji. Hope you're doing okay, my friend. So then, guys, as I say, huge week ahead for Leeds United. These games we need to be taking maximum points from. Bare minimum 4 points, but in reality, it should be 6, really. Especially the fact that it's at Elland Road, our own crowd behind us. I think Nottingham Forest's poor away form, which I'll be coming on to in a little bit, but that's something that's giving me confidence going into this game. They've only scored 4 goals away from home as well, which I know it's the old Leeds United curse, isn't it? Where we'll come up against them and they could score a few, but I don't think they will. Spoiler alert, I do think we will get the job done tomorrow, but obviously I will get into that in a little bit more detail. I just wanted to cover Javi Grazia's press conference very briefly, just off the bat from earlier on this afternoon. I thought he said a few interesting things that I just wanted to raise on tonight's stream. Obviously, first of which, it was on about the striking options at Leeds United. He said he sees Patrick Bamford as a clear number 9, and he's also someone that can play alongside a shadow striker or like a second striker, basically. And he did mention Rodrigo in that sentence as well. So is that him hinting that he's going to play with 2 up top tomorrow against Nottingham Forest? I think that'd be a very smart move, because I think Rodrigo can maybe play as a shadow striker. He can kind of float in the 10 and obviously operate as a second striker for Bamford as well. I think the fact that you'd have 2 strikers up top with different attributes would confuse Forest and would benefit us massively. I think, Patrick Bamford's ability to bring the ball down, to link others into play. He's not just there for goals. Obviously, he is a striker, so he will ultimately be judged on goals. But Bamford brings a lot to this team when he's on form. And then there's Rodrigo, who is the more natural finisher of the two. Someone that can run in behind. If Patrick Bamford can win flick-ons and if he can bring the wingers into play, Rodrigo can be the one that's in the box waiting for the ball in to nod it home, hopefully. So, I just thought that was interesting. Obviously, I will come on to my predicted 11 at the end of the video, guys. But, I just thought it was interesting to bring that up because it kind of got me a little bit excited, I can't lie, at the prospect of potentially seeing Rodrigo and Patrick Bamford up top together. We'll just get into a few more comments before I come on to the next point. All right, Charlie, excited about tomorrow night? Evening, Nick, by the way. I am excited, but I'm also dreading it at the same time. I think it's going to be a very nervy affair. Obviously, I will be there. For those who don't know, I am a season ticket holder in the South Stand. I will be there tomorrow night, so I'm expecting a very nervy, anxious atmosphere. I think the crowd will be with the team for a certain point, but if it starts going wrong, it is a crowd that can turn very quickly, rightly or wrongly. It is a crowd that can turn if things aren't going their way. But on the flip side to that, I think tomorrow will be different. I think the crowd will realise that it's a pressure situation. We'll get behind them 100%, you know, chanting, we'll be cheering for them all the way. And, hopefully Leeds United can get the job done. So, yeah, I am excited, mate. But at the same time, we're all Leeds fans at the end of the day. We know what supporting this club can do to us. And it'll be all that I'm thinking about tomorrow at work. Good evening, Michael. How are we doing? Michael's back in again. We can't underestimate Forest, even though they have a dreadful away record. 100%, mate. And I don't think we should go into this game underestimating them. But at the same time, I am confident that we can do a job on them tomorrow night. And obviously, we'll get into why in a little bit. And yeah, an early goal is 100% required in this game. I think if either team go in front early, it could change the whole trajectory of the game. So the next point that I just want to get into is just speak about Forest in general. So obviously, we all know that they signed about 637 players in the summer. They also added a few in January as well. Their owners thrown a lot of money at this squad. In my opinion, not all of them are Steve Cooper signings. And I think that's quite clear to see with who he does choose on a weekly basis. They've made some okay signings, John Joe Shelvey, Premier League experience, Gibbs White, Premier League experience, and very, very good at Championship level as well. I think they signed him for about 40 million, which is ridiculous, really. He's a decent enough player, but not good enough to be worth 40 million, in my opinion, which is the same price as we saw Calvin Phillips for. So for me, he's nowhere near the player that Calvin Phillips is. But anyway, we'll move on from Gibbs White. Obviously, Brennan Johnson as well, who seems to be their outlet at the minute. I think everything that they do in an attacking sense goes through Brennan Johnson and Gibbs White as a pair, really. Obviously, Chris Wood, who they signed in January from Newcastle, he's now out for the season. So I think Chris Wood kind of offered a similar thing to what Bamford does for us, in a sense of he brings the ball down well and brings their other attacking players into play. So I guess that's a bonus for Leeds United that we won't need to cope with Chris Wood tomorrow. Obviously, Serge Aurier, Keylor Navas, Felipe, Renan Lodi, that O'Brien from Huddersfield, who I think's now gone. I don't know where he's gone, but that was just a weird signing. But they've still obviously got, is it Worrell at the back, their captain, who's maintained his place in there since the Championship days. Emmanuel Dennis, God, the list goes on. I could name 2 coachful worth of players that have signed for Nottingham Forest over the last year. But I am worried for Nottingham Forest. And again, that could come back to bite me on the backside come tomorrow evening. But I think whatever happens tomorrow, I think after they play us, they've got... I'm just going to get it on my phone here. I'm just going to type it in because I vaguely remember looking and they've got an awful running. Let's just have a look, shall we? Where are we going? Right, so obviously they've got us tomorrow. Then they've got Villa away, Man United at home, Liverpool away, Brighton at home, Brentford away, Southampton at home, which they'll probably win, Chelsea away, which now Chelsea have sacked Graham Potter. They could get a really good coach who can really get that squad going. Then they've got Arsenal at home and then Crystal Palace away. So if you think about it, for me, they may get a shock win here and there, and they might pick up the odd point. But other than Palace and Southampton, who I think they could win, other than that, even Villa this Saturday, they've got Villa at Villa Park. That's not going to be easy at all. Then Man United at home. Let me just go back. So, phone's playing up a bit. Yeah, so Villa at Man United, then Liverpool away, which I know you don't really know what Liverpool team can turn up at the minute, but Brighton, Brentford, Chelsea, Arsenal. They've still got a lot of good teams in this league to play, and I do worry for them after they play us. I'm not worried for them tomorrow, obviously, but after that, I think Nottingham Forest are in real trouble, especially if we beat them tomorrow as well. Um, yeah, I think if Forest go down, the amount of departures that you're going to see from the City ground is going to be ridiculous. And it'd be interesting to see how they approached the Championship next season if they do go down. There might be a lot of players that they can't get rid of. Are players who are used to playing in top leagues in Europe and in the Premier League, are they going to be willing to go down into the Championship? They'll probably lose Brennan Johnson, because he's a really good player. He could make it at a decent enough Premier League club. I'd have him at Leeds. I think he's a really good player. So yeah, I just thought I'd touch on Forest, because I think overall they've done okay. They had a bit of a purple patch after World Cup, but they've not won a game since they beat us in Jesse Marsh's last game, and that is very telling, in my opinion. Just getting to a few of your comments. A few have dropped in. We will rip them apart from seam to seam. They are doggers. Oh, God. Safe to say that you're confident going into tomorrow then, Kev, yeah? Leeds haven't beaten Forest in the last 6 meetings. That includes the Championship when Leeds played them. Yeah, I think we've beat them twice out of the last 16 encounters with Nottingham Forest. I remember that Dakara volley at the Kop end against them in the Championship a few years ago. I was actually in the Kop that night. I had a really good view of that goal. But yeah, it isn't a great record. I'm just saying, Forest's away record this season is shocking. I think I can only remember them maybe winning once away this season. I think that was Southampton away. Other than that, they've not won a game. They've only scored 4 goals away from home all season. So the data's there, guys. This has to be 3 points. Now, I know in my predictions upload that I did last week, I predicted we would draw this game. But on reflection, I'm changing my mind and just saying, look, we need to win this. It's as simple as that. Getting beat by them tomorrow is unthinkable for me at the minute. Yes, they beat us at their own ground, but it was under Jesse Marsh. It was awful football. And even that game, they were crap. They were rubbish. They had one chance from Johnson, who scored. Fair play. It was a decent finish. But other than that, what have they done? What have they done all season? They're not a good side. They've signed too many players. Yeah, he's picking a similar 11 each week now. Fair enough. But come on, guys. This needs to be a win. It's as simple as that. I'm sorry. It really does need to be 3 points. Nick's in the building again. Forest are a team of individuals, not like the team players that we have. Yeah, exactly my point there. It's a similar point to what I was just saying there. They've got a lot of good players individually, but as a team, it's just not worked. They could very well still stay in the Premier League, but I think it'll be very, very tight for them towards the end of this season. 100%. Michael Brown. Apparently, Cooper is under pressure now from what has been mentioned, as clubs are now panicking by sacking managers like Rodgers, Vieira, and Potter. Exactly. And they said before the Wolves game for them at the weekend that if he didn't win, if he got beat in that game, that he would probably get the sack. I think that point against Wolves has kept him in his job a little bit longer. It wouldn't surprise me that if we beat them tomorrow, that they press the panic button and they get rid. He only signed, what was it, a 5-year contract extension towards the end of last year. So at least he'd get a big payout if he gets sacked. But, he got them there. He's done better than I thought they would so far. I just think it's starting to claw away from them now a little bit. O'Brien has now moved to the MLS. God, what a strange move. And look, I'll be honest, I wanted us to sign him at one point. I think he was very well thought of. But this Nottingham Forest move just not been the one for him, has it? It just hasn't. Michael again. Forest's last victory was on the 5th of February against Leeds. Marsh's last match as Leeds manager. Yep. Since that victory, they have only picked up 3 points, all at home, all draws against Man City, Everton, and Wolves. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I'm saying, guys, that this needs to be 3 points. They won't keep Navas if they drop. No, absolutely no chances. How they even managed to get that one over the line is beyond me because he's a world-class goalkeeper. World class. So I do not know how they managed to get that over the line, but fair play to them. I think his debut was the game against us, actually. I think the setup should be Bamford, Rodrigo, Harrison, Sinny, McKennie, Rocker, Firpo, Cooper, if fit, Cock, Ayling, Christensen, 2-0. Okay, fair enough. That's a early predicted 11 there from Mark and a score prediction. Fair enough there, mate. Obviously, I will be getting to my predicted lineup and score prediction at the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned, guys. There's 16 of you in the building at the minute. That's really good to see. If you haven't already, please smash a like on the video. Please subscribe if you're brand new and get all of your thoughts and opinions in the live chat and in the comment section down below if you're watching after the stream ends. Michael's again, victory for Leeds will, in my opinion, put Forest in real trouble. They are bottom of the form table, yet which is telling you something because we must be down there in terms of the form table, and Forest are dead bottom of it. And yeah, I think if we beat them tomorrow, then Steve Cooper is at risk of getting the boot, in my opinion. Apparently, Cooper is on. Yeah, exactly. He signed a 5-year extension, so it'll be a big payout for him if he gets sacked. We need to hammer them, boost the goal difference, and knock their confidence. 100%, Manji, and very much, brother. I hope that happens 100%. So then, my actual next point actually is my predicted 11. So obviously, usually I do a predicted 11 video separately, but obviously the games are just coming that quick this week that I'll incorporate it into my preview. So again, guys, I think Mark's already dropped his 11 in. If you like, please drop your predicted starting 11 for tomorrow's game and I will flash it up on screen and we can have a chat about it. But mine, I'll just go through mine first. In goal, obviously, Illan Meslier, that goes without saying. Not really going to blame him for any of the goals conceded at Arsenal. It is what it is. I think of late, having a consistent back four in front of him has made him get more confident and a lot better. However, you know, Javi Gracia said in his press conference earlier that Nonto and Verba, he didn't really mention them by name, but obviously he was asked about injuries and he said, you know, maybe we'll have more options for tomorrow, but maybe not. So again, we're 50-50 really. So I'll do my back four based on if Verba is fit and without him being fit as well. So obviously with him being fit, my back four would be Ayling, Koch, Verba and Firpo. Without him, I think it'll probably be Ayling, Koch, Cooper and Firpo. I think Cooper will just play just for the experience alone. And I don't mind it for this one, in all honesty. I was nervous about the prospect of him starting against Arsenal, but he didn't, which I know we ended up getting beat 4-1. So I guess that kind of rejects that point in itself. But I think everyone knows why I maybe didn't favour Cooper against Arsenal, but I don't mind it tomorrow, in all honesty, if Ferber is still injured. My double pivot will, of course, be Mark Rocker and Weston McKennie. I think that will be the case as well. I literally think that is the reason why McKennie started on the bench at the Emirates, along with others as well. And look, if it works and Leeds go and beat Forest tomorrow and everyone's fit and raring to go, then I guess we'll probably forget about Arsenal, won't we? Let's be honest, because that was a free hit ultimately. The three in front of the double pivot, I believe, will be Sinistera, Harrison, and Aronson in the 10. Now, I know I said at the beginning that he kind of teased the prospect of Rodrigo and Bamford playing together. I don't think it'll be the case, though. I think he was just making a point, even though it does excite me. And there's a very, very small part of me that does think we could see that tomorrow. However, I've just got a feeling that he'll go with the typical 4-2-3-1. And I think up front, I think it'll be Rodrigo, Simply, he's our most lethal finisher. He's our top scorer this season. Um, and if needed, Bamford can come on and add something completely different. He could maybe come on for Aronson, then Rodrigo could slip into the 10 and Bamford up top. We could maybe do that in the second half. I'll just for fun, if we did see Rodrigo and Bamford, I think it'd be a 4-4-2 essentially, with obviously Cine on the right, Harrison on the left, with Rocket and McKennie in the middle, with Rodrigo and Bamford up top. But yeah, that would be my 11 anyway, guys. So as I said, hit me up in the comment section down below with who your predicted 11 would be. There's 20 of you in the building. Again, smash a like, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, and get all of your thoughts in the live chat and the comment section if you're watching after the live stream finishes. So yeah, Mark saying, is Rodrigo fully fit? I mean, you'd like to think so. He had the whole international break. He had a cameo against Wolves where he scored. He had a cameo against Brighton before that, and then he's played a little bit at the Emirates on Saturday. So he has got a few minutes under his belt. So I'd like to think that is at least 80-85% fitness. Their chairman is funding Nottingham Forest. If they go down, the team will implode. Lingard is on 200 grand a week. They have bought at least 24 players, and many of whom haven't proved good enough. Exactly, and I forgot about Lingard, to be honest, because he's not really done anything of any real note, has he, down there, the ex-scummer? I really hope Verber is fit tomorrow. In my opinion, he should be first name on the team sheet, 100%, and I do as well. But obviously, there is the risk that if we bring him back too early, his injury could get aggravated. So I understand it needs to be managed. I think if him and Nonto don't feature tomorrow, I think they definitely will against Palace. So at least there's that at the end of the day. Without Werber, 4-4-2, Rasmussen for Ayling, Cooper, Cock, Firpo, Harrison, Rocker, McKennie, Aronson, Bamford, and Rodrigo. Yeah, fair play, mate. I can understand why people would maybe put Rasmussen ahead of Ayling as he's scored 2 goals in the last 2 games. But I think Luke Ayling will still get the nod, and I think he should do, really, in all honesty. Verber can also play in the Adams role as centre mid. He made his debut for Leeds as a second half sub away at Cardiff as centre mid. Yep, you're right there. When we're 2-0 down with Verber in CM, Leeds significantly improved to draw. Yeah, and I think if Verber does become available, that's something that Grazia could think about. But I still would prefer to see Verber at the heart of the defence rather in midfield, in all honesty, because I think we'd lose something at the back. Yeah, my next point then, obviously, just in general, Elland Road playing a huge factor. I just thought it's something that's worth talking about. Like I said earlier, I think the crowd will be bang up for it tomorrow. It will be nervy. It will be nervy, touchy. It could be anxious. You'll feel that tension in the air at Elland Road, but certainly at the start of the game when we're blasting out, marching on together, creating an atmosphere, start the Champions of Europe chant, scarves flying. Let's create a bit of an atmosphere. Let's make it uneasy for Nottingham Forest, because they're under pressure as well. It's 2 teams who are fighting relegation. So in terms of, is it going to be a spectacle of a game? Probably not. But in the tough moments tomorrow, because there will be a point where Forest come into the game. Of course they will. We just need to ride that wave. We need to get behind them as best we can. I understand if it gets frustrating that there'll be certain people in the crowd that will vent the frustrations, rightly or wrongly. But we just need to try and stick with them as best we can in this moment, because it isn't easy. And they are human beings at the end of the day. Sometimes I even forget that when I'm frustrated at them, at certain performances this season, even the Everton game away, which was awful. But they won't have meant for it to be awful that day. But this game tomorrow is huge. I've said it a few times now on this channel. I've been saying it for a few weeks now, actually, that these next 2 games are the biggest games in our recent history. I think on Sunday afternoon, when full-time whistle blows against Palace, we'll all have a very, very good idea of where Leeds United will be playing football next season, in my opinion. Um, if this week goes wrong, we are in massive trouble. Big, big trouble. If it goes well for us, then I think we'll be fine. Um, even 2 draws or something daft like that, not good enough, we'll still be in trouble. Imagine if we only get like 1 or 2 points or even nothing from these next 2. That's just unthinkable at the minute. That is unthinkable. I don't want to be thinking like that. I'm confident of a Leeds United win tomorrow. I am at Elland Road with our fans behind them. Forest will probably bring a lot with them. It isn't far, is it, Nottingham? So they'll probably bring some with them. They'll try and create an atmosphere as well. But we need to be loud in the south stand, the Cop, east stand, cheese wedge, wherever you sit in Elland Road or stand. Get behind the lads because I think Elland Road needs to become a fortress towards the end of the season. And we're playing in our home kit tomorrow, obviously. So always potential for a win in the home kit. We've not won a game in the away or third kit all season. That is mental. Maybe we should just play the remaining games of this season in our home kit because I think it's the best chance that we've got. But yeah, Elland Road needs to play a huge factor in this game for me because it isn't going to be a great game to watch. Like I said, both teams at the bottom fighting for their lives. That's just going to make the game nervy as well. There's going to be misplaced passes flying about. It's not going to be a good football match, but it'll be about who wants it more. And hopefully Leeds will want it more, and I think they will want it more, 100%. If Forest lose, they are searched for relegation with Southampton, then it's one other team to join them. Yeah, I think Southampton are definitely done, especially after West Ham beating them yesterday. Can't see a way out for Southampton, even if they don't finish dead bottom. I just can't see them getting out of that bottom 3 now. We will score in the first 10 minutes, then have to stay on top of the counter-attack. Yeah, I mean, hopefully. But yeah, I think if we can get an early goal, we just need to keep piling on the pressure. Let's get another one. Maybe, 1 or 2-0 at half-time. I'll be very, very happy with that, obviously. Michael, again, Forest have to win. A draw is not good enough for them, given their running. Leeds will and must score first. Yeah, I think we'll score first as well. I do. And I think if we score first, again, Elland Road crowd will play a huge factor. It'll be a raucous atmosphere. It'll be very, very good. I think if Leeds can win this game, I think it'll be a very good vibe and a good atmosphere at Elland Road tomorrow, and everyone will be bang up for Sunday then against Crystal Palace, which again is another huge game, but we'll come to that at the end of the week. But yeah, honestly, this has to be 3 points, guys. I cannot stress this enough. It has to be 3 points. If we lose this, we are big. We are in big, big trouble if we lose this game, because then that affects the confidence levels going into Palace, then, doesn't it? And that makes that game an even harder task. If we can win this tomorrow and win it well, huge confidence booster for Palace. Beat them, and then we're fine, in my opinion. We honestly are fine. If we can get 2 wins from the next 2, we'll pass 30 points, and then it won't be completely done, but we'll start to see finish line. Phil A said it on the Square Ball podcast earlier on today. I was listening to it on the drive home from work. He said, if you get past that 30 points mark by end of week, it isn't completely over, but it starts to be getting closer to being over, doesn't it? And in a good way as well. So yeah, like I say, guys, must be a win. It really must be a win, this. In Javi, I trust in most of his decision making. He's called it right, apart from the Arsenal match. Yeah, completely agree with that, Michael. I think apart from the Arsenal match, I think he's got the setup and the tactics spot on. Like I said on the final say as well last night, I think Grazia has got results so far against the teams that he should be getting results against, which again gives me huge confidence coming into tomorrow's game and the game against Palace as well. Manjeet's saying, let's hope Spurs do a job on Everton tonight, start the week well. Yep, exactly, which is why obviously I'll be ending the stream shortly, guys, obviously, because I know that there'll be a lot of you keeping a firm eye on the Everton Spurs game. I'm going to try not to watch it because it'll annoy me if things don't go well for us. I'll just keep checking the score. And hopefully Spurs can do us a favour. Don't do a Spurs. Don't be Spursy. Just go to Goodison Park and just beat them, please. Don't care what the score is. Just beat them. You've got Harry Kane, Son, Kulusevski up top. You know, I don't want to see an Everton 1-0 Tarkovsky or Cody header. I just don't want to see it. Go to Goodison Park, Spurs, and please do a job on them. Very much appreciated. And let's be positive. Definitely nervous. Yeah, exactly. Definitely going to be nervous. And there's going to be tension in the air at Elland Road. And it's going to be a very anxious atmosphere, I think. But at the same time, I think it'll be very positive as well. I think the fans need to get behind them 100%. You know, let's get the chance going early because it'll feel like a cup final. It's that important. I just don't think some people, you know, and I get we're trying to be positive, but, you know, you see the odd person on Twitter saying, you know, it's okay if we lose this game, there's still Palace. And it's like, no. If we lose tomorrow, we are in massive trouble, guys. But I'm not going to end the stream on a negative note. Sorry, I'm going to end it on a positive note. Let's get into the score predictions then, guys. Hit me up in the comments section before we end the stream. What score do you think it'll be tomorrow, and who are your goal scorers? Listen to a West Ham podcaster. He believes 33 points will be enough to stay up. Yeah, I think, I'm not sure it'll be 33, but I think it'll be a lower points total than most seasons gone by. I think it's that tight at the minute. You could see it being maybe anything from 33 to 36 points. Maybe I think it'll be that tight going towards the end of the season. But my score prediction for tomorrow evening, guys. Given the fact that that Forest have only scored 4 league goals all season away from home, sorry. I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0 Leeds. And I think Rodrigo will score. And I think Harrison will score as well. So, yeah, 2-0 Leeds for me. Rodrigo and Harrison with the goals for Leeds United, in my opinion. And, yeah, I just hope the crowd sticks behind the team if things are not going well. Yeah, I do too. And I think they will. It depends how bad the performance is as well, though. I think if we're losing, but Forest are just all over us, then I think it could get very toxic in the ground. But, you know, as I always like to say, you know, as long as I see fight, as long as I see desire, as long as I see effort on that pitch, playing for the badge and all that jazz, yes, it'll be upsetting and frustrating and disappointing if we lose, and I do still think we'll be in trouble. But as long as they've given everything into it, that's all you can ask for, really. But I do think we'll win the game. And don't get me wrong, that's not a comfortable 2-0. That's a very nervy, you know, not a great game, 2-0. Manjeet's also saying 2-0. Yeah, I agree. Nick G saying, I always get the score wrong, but end of season, I have got us staying up on 38 points with West Ham, Southampton, and Bournemouth down. Interesting. I think West Ham will be fine, Nick. In my opinion, my bottom three is Southampton, Bournemouth, and Nottingham Forest, ironically. So, yeah, I do think West Ham will be okay, but fair enough, mate, if that's your opinion. Ayling and Bamford to score. Interesting. Luke Ayling with another goal. That'd be good to see, wouldn't it, Manji? So yeah, we'll bring the stream to a close there, guys. We've been going for nearly 38 minutes at the moment, so we'll end it there for this evening. I know a lot of you will be wanting to watch Everton against Spurs. Let's hope Spurs can do us a favour to start the week off well. If you've enjoyed this stream, guys, please smash a like on it as you're leaving. It is free. It really helps me out and it helps get the stream out there as well. So do me a solid and smash that like button. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. Let's get closer and closer to 3,000 subscribers. We're a little bit off yet, but every subscriber counts. If you're new, plenty of content always on the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel, and you can hit that notification bell as well so that you're always aware of when content is out. I will do a match review when I get home from the game tomorrow. It'll be a late one, but I will do a brief reaction when I get home. And then we'll be back with the final say on Wednesday, which will be live on the channel, where we'll go more in depth over tomorrow night's game. Thursday, I might have a night off content. And then Friday, obviously, we'll be back with your Crystal Palace content with predicted 11 and your previews and all that jazz. Basically, guys, long story short, get subscribed if you haven't already, because there's plenty of content coming. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Let's get 3 points tomorrow evening, and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.